sọ̀rọ̀ sà. As Baba is coming.
Wọ́n sì máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò lórí òkè ẹ̀yìn ọ̀gbọ́n kí ẹ wà ní ìdòkò pàápàá àná mi tí wọ́n fẹ́ ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ bí lónìí tí ó fẹ́ ní ọmọ bàbá wa wá ṣẹ̀yìndì bàbá wa àbádáadáa ní bàbá wa OYIN-ADEJOBI wọ́n jẹ́ ọmọ ọba lóde Òṣogbo. Wọ́n jẹ́ ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n nípa eré ìbílẹ̀ eré orí ìtàgé nígbà tí ó wà ní táwọn ẹgbẹ́ káàkiri gbogbo ìlú ayé mọ́tò ní pákó. Wọ́n sọ fún bàbá wa jẹ́ gbajúgbajà jù ní ìgbà tí àwọn iléeṣẹ́ tẹlifíṣàn Ìbàdàn wọ́n dá kóòtù àṣepalẹ̀ àwádìí sí àwọn eré ìtàn tó nípa àwọn ìkúrọ̀ ọlọ́jà àwọn oríṣiríṣi ọkọ̀ àwọn ọkọ̀ adédìgbà tó jẹ́ pé orí ìtàn àbáná mọ́dálé ṣùgbọ́n kóòtù àṣìpa ọdẹ eré mọ́nìgbàgbé tó jẹ́ pé lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ kálukọ́fẹ́ lóko tí a wò dé ọkọ̀ tí wọ́n máa wòrán tí wọ́n fẹ́ wò wọ́n wò láti orí kọ́ lọ́sẹ̀ pàápàá jùlọ orin tí wọ́n jáde ń bẹ̀ Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ arẹ́jọ́
Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ arẹ́jọ́
gbogbo àdéhùn ẹjọ́ àdídáràn kò sì ní dáràn bọ̀ wá lọ́rùn. Bàbá wa jẹ́ ara wọn tó gbé gbogbo Òṣogbo yọ káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè wa àti káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáńlá ayé tí a bá ti wà bá wa tó ládé tọ̀tàn lórí gbogbo làwọn náà ní àkọlé wa ìjàmbá wa OYIN-ADEJOBI ẹ̀fẹ́ ìdílé ọlọ́mọ ọba ní wọ́n ti wọ́n ẹ̀lú sí ṣẹ̀fẹ́ wà ní ṣòkòtò fún ọmọ oríta àkọ́kọ́ pàápàá àdúgbò pàtàkì láìpẹ́ ẹ̀lẹ́
ọ̀gbà tí màá fẹ́ pẹ̀lú tó ń pọ́ síta tó ń fún ọmọdé tẹ̀ntọ́ rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ rí ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́ tọ́ba ń tó ọ̀yà tó àfọláyàn tó tó bàbá táwọn ọmọ ti relevant no problem. bàbá àmì ìṣọjọ́ àmì ti ẹ̀kọ́ mi lẹ́nu ọ̀rọ̀
ọkọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ ilé gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ nígbàgbà ìpẹ̀sà ìtàkùjà gbogbo àbá ayé ọ̀pọ̀ gbogbo yẹn orí ìyá náà yóò tó tí ì olùlẹ́gbà títí náà yóò tó tí ì padà sọdí ńlá lérí padà èyí wìnìwìnì fẹ́fàn òjò ọ̀gànjọ́ ní pàkókò tójú ti mú bí àwọn ibi tá a gbé sùn adúbáwò ibi tí wọ́n gbé ti bí ni adúbáwò ibi tá a máa gbé tí wọ́n ti bí ní ọ̀tọ̀ tí ìjọba máa gbé ọ̀tọ̀ tó bá wá di ọjọ́ alẹ́ ìjọba tó ti lórí àdìbá náà wò sòsì bí àtàrí ọmọ bó sun orí ọmọ bó gbé àbámọ́ bẹ̀ àbálọ́rẹ̀ tó lẹ̀ pẹ̀sẹ̀ àbámẹ́po àbámúyọ̀ àbámú ata àbámóbì àbámú ọtí àbálọ́rẹ̀ tó lẹ̀ pẹ̀sẹ̀ bí àtàrí ọmọ bó sùn pé lórí ọ̀nà kó gbé bàbá wa wọ́n bí wọn ní gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ ọba ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀sẹ̀ títáyé wọn ó sì fi hàn bí olú gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọba lẹ́yìn tí ó jọba gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìtàn Olúpọ̀n-Adédìgbà náà ti rò pé àwọn ọmọ ayé ò lè tó nǹkan ṣe ni wọ́n lè bàjẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n pàpà síbẹ̀ òkú bàbá wa tó búyọ̀ ó sì lè pé orogún òun ṣètò òkú bàbá wa ó búyọ̀ ìṣẹ́ tí ó wo ìtàn Olúpọ̀n-Adédìgbà ní ọ̀là lójú èèyàn ìyẹn sì mọ̀ pé ayé náà ní bí ayé láwọn ti yẹ tí jẹ́ ibi ìyé ayé ò ní bí kankan ayé ò ní bí tá ọ ò ní bí tá lẹ ayé ò ní bí tá àkéèké ayé kò ní ta wá ọ àrọ́kànbéjò kò ní ta wá kò ní kú àjẹ ọ. Wọ́n bí ọmọkùnrin wọ́n bí ọmọbìnrin nínú ọdún yìí náà mo rí pé wọ́n ti wá kẹ́ ìyá wa gangan nínú gbàgbẹ́ náà ni. Ẹ̀yẹ dáná lámbà náà wọ́n ní òkú olówó oṣù méje ni òkú ìwọ̀fà oṣù mẹ́fà òkú ọlọ́mọ àti ìsípẹ́ ni a tún máa ṣèrántí àbá wa láti gbàdégbà àbá wa wọ́n lọ sùn ní ìyàwó iye ọmọ wọn ní ìsìn ó ti tún kàn káàkiri òkú bàbá wa kò ní wọlé bí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wá tó jẹ́ ọmọ wọn náà ẹ má jẹ́ kí gbogbo àbá wa ọwọ́ ilẹ̀ síbẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ti ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ wo àwọn tí alábàáṣiṣẹ́ bàbá ẹni wa tó lè gbé àwọn kan ìlárugẹ. Àwọn èèyàn tó máa rí ẹ̀kọ́ kọ́ ńbẹ̀ ó tán lẹ́nu ó kò kú.
Baba, ẹ ṣé o, adúpẹ́ o, a máa rí bá ẹ pè fún wa o. Ẹ ṣé o, please can we give a round of applause today? The program proper, and of course, if Professor Benisola Adeoti is here, we would like to call you to the podium. Of course, we have brought together several presenters for today's event to dissect Dr. Prince, late Dr. OYIN-ADEJOBI. But before we move on, I would like to appropriately introduce Madam Yemisi Adejobi. Once again, apologies please. I learned that Madam Yemisi Adejobi is the wife to the late Prince OYIN-ADEJObi. Can you please stand already?
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you so much. We also have Ambassador Remi Ajibewa, who is also joining us virtually. Professor Adeoti, please, can you come to the podium? So please, the round of applause for Professor Adeoti. Professor Adeoti is the lead speaker for today's colloquium. And of course, I'm sure you would enjoy whatever he wants to say here this afternoon.
A brief salutation of Professor Benisola Adeoti. Professor Benisola Adeoti obtained his BA in Dramatic Arts with second-class urban division and MA Literature in English from Oba Amon University, OYIN-ADEJOBI, and PhD in English from the University of Ibadan, Oyo State. He was once a reporter, researcher with Lagos Eagle and later the News magazine, Lagos, before joining the academia. He started as a graduate assistant and became a professor in 2010. His areas of teaching and research include dramatic literature, poetry, literary history, theory, and popular culture. He is the author of Naked Selves, Voices of Stage, Nigeria Grammatics on Drama and Politics, Aesthetics of Adaptation in Contemporary Nigerian Drama, Nigerian Video Films in Yoruba, editor of News and Nemesis, Critical Perspectives on Ahmed Yorima's Drama, African Literature and the Future, and Inside African Forest, Critical Perspectives on the novels of D.O. Fagua. He was a British Academy visiting fellow at the Workshop Theatre School of English, University of Leeds, United Kingdom in 2008, and a postdoctoral fellow of the African Humanities Program from 2009 to 2010. Was Director, Institute of Cultural Studies between 2011 and 2015, and later being Faculty of Arts, Department Awolowo University, Ilefe, between 2015 and 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Professor Demishola Adeoti.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Mo kí ẹ̀yin bàbá mi, mo kí ẹ̀yin ìyá mi. Màá bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí bàbá wa Fáníyàn Àpapọ̀ kẹgbẹ́ fún ọ. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀tọ́ kò ní bàjẹ́. Mo kí ẹ̀yin màmá wa pàápàá jùlọ àwọn ìdílé OYIN-ADEJOBI. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí àǹtí wa àti àǹtí Yẹ́bísí. Ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́, ẹ kú àtijọ́. I warmly welcome distinguished Professor of Theatre, Professor Ahmed Yarima. My colleagues, I see Dr. Yemato, Dr. Ademoye, Olaimoye, and Dr. Iwo. Other colleagues here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, our children from various schools, you are welcome. You are very lucky to be part of an occasion like this. Let me say, as they say, that all protocols duly observed. I want to commend and congratulate the Center for Black Culture and International Understanding for putting together this particular program in order to enable us to remember our past so that we can properly understand our present with the aim of getting a better future. This is not the first. The center has organized so many of such programs for Drola people, for Okudai, Noraino Elami, and other artists who are there at the beginning and who have served as mentors and inspiration for new generation. So, today's program is very, very important. Let me say that what we call Nigerian film tradition today, that some people call Nollywood, the story cannot be complete without mentioning OYIN-ADEJOBI. The history of Yoruba popular traveling theatre will not be complete without the story of Prince OYIN-ADEJOBI. In any case, when you are talking about African theatre history, the story will not be complete. In fact, the history will be inadequate without a good knowledge of OYIN-ADEJOBI, and first is concerts, theatre, and later OYIN-ADEJOBI traveling theatre. So my brief presentation is just to underscore some points about the life and legacies that OYIN-ADEJOBI made while alive on African theatre history. First, OYIN-ADEJOBI was one of the major artists that point attention to the city of Osogbo as the home of Yoruba art and culture. In this, he shares the same origin with the late Duro Ladipo. at a point, though he was from Ekiti, okay, more specifically, but he came to limelight when he started practicing theatre in the city of Osogbo, and I'm talking of no other person than Kola Ogumola, who was a companion of Turola Dupo at that particular time. It was in the same city that we had Aduni Olorisha and Ulibe, who also contributed to Osogbo as the center of art. Not to talk of others like Jimo Brahma, Murai Nawoilami, Babawa Ifayemi, Elebribo. So when we are talking of the headquarters of Yoruba culture, art, and entertainment, Osogbo strikes, a golden crown, apart from others like Ibadan and then Lagos. So OYIN-ADEJOBI gave, or he was part of the people that gave prominence to Osogbo, to Osogbo as the city of Yoruba art. Apart from that, when I said the history of Nigerian film in contemporary era will not be complete without OYIN-ADEJOBI, I also mean that if you look at those who thrived in that tradition today, some of them had their background in OYIN-ADEJOBI theatre. So Baba was a mentor. Apart from his own practice, he was able to mentor other artists, and that is why his legacies can never be eroded. No matter how strong the eraser is, you cannot erode it, because we have prominent people. For instance, Baba Wande, the popular Baba Wande. Not many people know his real name as Karim Adepoju, but they know Baba Wande. And Baba Wande was a prominent figure in OYIN-ADEJOBI theatre. He worked with him for about 25 years before he left and then went his own way. With his Tioluwanile, the 3-part series, those who are familiar with Yoruba film will know that this marks a strong point in Nigeria, in Yoruba film tradition. You also have Kola Oyiwo. Kola Oyiwo was with Baba for about 9 years, I think from 1964 to 1973, before he joined the University of Ife Theatre. So we are talking of somebody who traversed the tradition of theatre practice. You see that in Oyiwo, who started with the traveling theatre and then went to the university to be part of the literary theatre tradition before he joined the academics as a scholar. All the knowledge that he gained under Adejobi were quite useful for him as a lecturer, because he was able to combine theatre practice with the academic tradition in his own way. I will not forget Tafa Olorede. I remember one of the series in Porto Ashiba. Tafa Olorede and Baba Wande, they are always antagonistic. Then Alabielo. Alabielo, that's another fantastic person in Yoruba theatre. And Larry Paima was with Turola Dupo, but he also had a stint with the OYIN-ADEJOBI. In fact, at a particular point in time, he was a manager of the theatre, according to history. So, another point to make is that Baba was a playwright. In fact, he represented the actor-manager tradition. And in Yoruba traveling theatre, the man at the center of the theatre is usually the originator of the story, is a composer, is the manager of the whole troupe, apart from being the head of the family, the husband of many wives, the father to children, and all of them, they are part of this. So most of the plays were originally composed and written by Baba. He was also the composer of music, of songs in that situation. And of course, it is not only the drama that is important. Even the songs, you're welcome. Even the songs, the lyrics are always meaningful and they contribute to the theme of the plays that they presented. Baba, like others, explored and started with the stage tradition. I remember around 1984, around 84, when the troupe came to Oyo as part of the itinerant theatre tradition. They came to perform to us for us at Olivet Baptist High School in Oyo. That was OYIN-ADEJOBI. That was my first encounter with the theatre, and everybody was thrilled, but nobody left the hall without tears in the eyes as the story explored the intrigues, the adversities, and of course the success that is likely to follow somebody who is determined to succeed in life. So he explored the stage. He also explored the radio. Okay? They use radio drama to reach their audience apart from the radio. I remember one episode. It's not in full now, but I think it was Tafa Oloyede that somebody was calling. Okay, Baba Wande was calling Oloyede Ikudede, and the man was resisting, and it became, a fight that had to be debated upon. So they also used the radio, and apart from that, the photo play magazine Atoka, some of the plays were serialized through that medium. So for scholars who are interested in theatre history, all of these platforms were the legacies or were the antecedents of what we now know as the Nigerian film tradition. Apart from that, as our father, Agbabo, earlier we had a regular slot on Nigerian Television Authority in those days, especially with Koto Ashipa. Koto Ashipa is the typical Yoruba judicial tradition, how disputes are settled among individuals, either within the family or as people in the society. And when you look at the role Baba played, apart from being Baba, Bayo, the man with wisdom who is always respected, is always fair in his adjudication. It's quite different from the English jurisprudence that we try today, where you don't go to court and come back as friends. No. Rather, it's usually even-handed, so that the person who is guilty will know that, yes, truly he's guilty and he has to make redress. While the person that wins will also know that there is a need to maintain peace, stability, and balance in the society. So the television was there, and when the film came, just like Ogunde, Moses OYIN-ADEJOBI, Baba also explored that medium to reach the audience. So if some people are tracing the origin of Nollywood to they are living in bondage, I say this is an error. Nigerian film history started much earlier than 1992 when they had their living in bondage.
Yes,
and this we should give credit to people like Papa OYIN-ADEJOBI, Ogunde, and so on. One thing that I find unique in the theatre of OYIN-ADEJOBI is that while his colleagues were exploring Yoruba myth Yoruba mythology with stories like Aye, Jayesimi, Elemoso, and so on. Baba was exploring stories of daily living experience, okay, of interpersonal relationship within the society, stories of our everyday life that you can find on the street, rather than the mystical. Of course, he had the mystical ones, but those that predominated in his dramatic oeuvre were those that deal with us in our present living, everyday experience on the street. Especially when you look at series in Kotu Ashipa, okay, or a story like Colloquium, they deal with everyday living, family issues, husband and wife, land dispute, chieftaincy, wahala, stories of envy, jealousy, greed. Those are the issues that Baba explored in his dramaturgy, and that was what endeared him to many people. Baba started as a clerk, and he was still working with the local government while he had his own traveling theatre tradition. So that some of the experience that he had in the work were quite handy in his plays. Among his plays, we'll talk about Kotu Ashiba. He had OYIN-ADEJOBI. One important play is his adaptation of Olu Daramola's play, Yoruba play, where Ileti Afitomo. Ileti Afitomo is a Yoruba written play, and Baba adapted it to the stage. In fact, it was that play that gave Baba Wande his prominent name, because Otokiti, who is the lead character there, was played by Baba Wande, Karim Adekoju, and that name got glued to the man till today. So this points attention to one of the sources of the place of Yoruba popular traveling theatre practitioners, adaptation of literature into their works. It's not surprising that we had other examples after these ones, like Tunde Pelani's adaptation of Akin Omishola's Olebu, Faleti's Bashorunga, among other works. OYIN by Rembe. So he also contributed to the tradition of adaptation in that situation. So, as the lead paper presenter, I'm only trying to whet your appetite for those who are actually going to make the real presentation, and they're going to come after me. But I think what we need to do, and as recommendation to the OYIN-ADEJOBI family and the Center for Black Culture, is to, apart from initiating an OYIN-ADEJOBI foundation, to see how we can have a museum dedicated to the legacies and memories of this man for his contribution to theatre. When you get to Stratford-upon-Avon in UK, that is where Shakespeare was born. But immediately you enter the town, everything that you find, in that city is breathing Shakespeare. The trees, the cup, the biro, everything. People brand them, and anybody who visits that place will know that this is the birthplace of William Shakespeare. I think we are not going to be doing too much if we think in that direction in sustaining the arts and legacies of Prince Dr. OYIN-ADEJOBI. Thank you. Please, we can do better than this. Thank you so much, Dr. Demisola Adeoti, for that beautiful presentation as the lead speaker, of course, of today's colloquium. Of course, quickly before I bring to the podium the director of the center, Professor USO, I want to quickly recognize the presence of members of the new sacred arts movement of Oshogbo. Yes, and that includes Ajibi Kewasiu. If you are here, thank you so much for coming. Adebisi Morufu, Eshiwa Adebeo, Taiwo Olorun Timi, Oluwarotimi. Thank you, Eshiwa Adebeo. Thank you so much for coming. I also want to recognize the presence of Dr. Oluwatoyin Ilesanmi. I saw her earlier. Thank you so much. Dr. Oluwatoyin is Director, Center for Gender, Humanitarian and Development Studies, Redeemers University. Thank you so much for coming. I also want to recognize Honorable Comrade Abodunmi G.A., who is the Education Secretary, Oshogbo Local Education Authority. Where are you, sir? Are you here? I'm here. All right, thank you so much for coming. Welcome, sir. We also recognize Mr. Alufu, MAO. He's the local inspection of education, Oshogbo Local Government. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. I also want to specially recognize our students from the Theatre Arts Department, Osun State University, Oshogbo. Greatest Nigerian students! Greatest Nigerian students! Thank you for coming. I'd like to call on the director of the center, Professor Shinya Oyeweso, to come and say one or two things to us. Please, a round of applause for our director. Thank you so much.
The chairman of this occasion, Chief Mani Agombawo of Oshogbo, with all respect, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Redeemers University, who has just stepped out, Professor Ahmed Yorima, the University Librarian, Redeemers University, my own younger brother, Dr. Adeleke, the professor whom I'm well pleased, former Dean Faculty of Arts, Obafemi Awolowo University, Oba Universities, and former Director, Institute of Cultural Studies, Obafemi Awolowo University, and a pioneer of theatre practice in Nigeria, Professor OYIN-ADEJOBI, who we fondly call GRA. Our distinguished guest speaker from Lagos State University, Professor Adeyinka. Please stand up for recognition. All the way from Lagos State University, she will be discussing the gender aspect of it. She has done extensive interview with Iya Oshogbo. Members of the family of OYIN-ADEJOBI who are here, all great Oshogbo people that are here. The National Arts Gallery, the National Commission for Museum and Monument, our esteemed guests from Osun State University, Dr. Layemi Atunda, Dr. Professor Adeoti, Dr. Oyewo, and others that I may not be able to mention their name because I just came in this morning directly from Abuja en route to Lagos just to be part of this occasion. And I had to be discussing with Dr. OYIN-ADEJOBI that please be here on time. Students of University. I want to appreciate the provost of the college, the dean of the faculty, the head of the department of theater arts for applying us with their students because University Cultural Troupe is here. Ogunjimi Cultural Troupe is here. We are still expecting another group that will be Alapuaro. I don't know whether they are here or not. Students of the 4 secondary schools that we are invited, we will duly recognize all our esteemed guests. Kindly pardon me to stand on the protocol already established. Exactly 24 years ago, we lost Ije. We lost a highly cerebral man who was a man of culture, a man of arts, and a man with profound understanding of the institution of polygamy. A disadvantaged man, physically disadvantaged, but was able to upstairs. He belongs to the first generation of theater art practitioners in Nigeria. There is no way you write the history of theater dramatic arts in Nigeria today without adequate reference to Papa OYIN-ADEJOBI of blessed memory. Today should be a day for all Oshobo sons and daughters to be here. We invited Oshobo people to be here. If they are not here, they should remember that history made us on all of them. If you remember people who have gone before you, they will also remember you. But whether you like it or not, OYIN-ADEJOBI will always be remembered because he has left indelible imprints on the sand of time. If you want to understudy the institution of polygamy, go and study OYIN-ADEJOBI. But like all men, men are polygynous by nature. It is very difficult for one woman to satisfy a man. A man was a victim of polygamy.
To be a polygamist. He married 5 wives and had many children. If you want to know how traditional rulers dispense justice in the traditional way, you should watch that
Go to Ashipa
on NTA. So next year, OYIN-ADEJOBI will be 25 years in the immortal war, in the invisible war, in the land that we cannot see. Yet, it belongs to the pantheon of our ancestors. We'll be marking it on a very, very grand scale. We'll be partner with NANCAP or all other stations in Nigeria that deal with theater. National Films and Censors Board, Lagos State Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Ekiti State Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Kogi State Ministry of Culture and Tourism. All those areas where we find that theater practice has been very, very active. We will do that to celebrate a man who was able to succeed against all odds. A man who represents
generations yet unborn. That is a disability itself. It's a mark for you to rise beyond your predicament. You are here today, a man who has been well studied in other cultures. If you don't study the man in Nigeria, go and look at Karim Baba. 3 Yoruba plays. Karim Baba has done extensive study on OYIN-ADEJOBI. Studies or Department of Anthropology, University of Birmingham. He is an emerita in that university to be extensible. Biodun Cheyifo has done very good work on OYIN-ADEJOBI. If our seniors have done this, what we want to do is to complement the existing body of literature on OYIN-ADEJOBI. The younger ones today are not familiar with their history, are not familiar with their culture. What we have done is to raise another generation that will remember OYIN-ADEJOBI. These young girls and boys from Ansaruddin, a Muslim grammar school, Oshogo, the next school. Yes, your own school. AUD. Tony, please come over to this side. Let's know the schools that are physically present here. We should recognize them.
We have done that already.
No, I want to know them.
Okay.
Muslim Grammar School, Colloquium.
Yes.
AUD, Ìsàlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Colloquium, Ìsàlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun, yes. Saint Francis, no.
Christ Africa.
Christ Africa School, Ìsàlẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀bú.
Yes.
And Salvation Army Primary School,
Okay.
Ìsàlẹ̀ Àrò Òṣogbo.
Thank you. These are our tomorrow. If those people today don't want to remember yesterday, we force generation after them to do what they have failed to do. So all the students that are here today, please learn about your culture, learn about your past. When you get to your parents at home today, let them tell you stories about OYIN-ADEJOBI, Koto Ashiba, Orokun Adedigba, and all the plays that the man wrote and acted in his lifetime. At the Center for Black Culture and International Understanding, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, headed by Prince Dr. Olakunsoye Oyinlola, the management and staff of this center, I want to welcome all of you, all of us, to this important occasion. It is a celebration of excellence, a celebration of a life, a fulfilled life, and a celebration of culture. We will partner with all necessary institutions, individuals, and organizations to have a befitting celebration in 2025, God willing. Take away from Professor OYIN-ADEJOBI's presentation. OYIN-ADEJOBI deserves a museum that will consist of all its ideas, its place, and a foundation in his memory. It's an IPC. Once again, I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Professor Chinua Iweso, the Director of the Center for Black Culture and International Understanding, for that beautiful welcome address. I want to mention that this colloquium in memory of Prince Dr. OYIN-ADEJOBI is in partnership with the Department of Theatre Arts of Christian University in Osogbo and the Department of Theatre Arts, Redeemers University. Okay. Thank you so much. I don't know if Rotimi is here with us. On display. Okay. All right. Pending when we have him join us here, I would like to call on Dr. Aziz Akinwumi Sheson from the Osun State University to come give us his presentation. I love your Agbada, sir. I hope I can get one before we leave this occasion today. You have a first presentation today.
Yes, 7 minutes. Standing before you is Dr. Aziz Akinwumi-Sheson. Dr. Aziz Akinwumi-Sheson holds B.Ed, M.A. and Ph.D. degrees from the University of Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria, with research interest in oral literature, drama, performance, gender, cultural and film studies. The title of his PhD thesis is Historiography and Cultural Meaning in Dramatic Literature and Video Films of English and Yoruba Expression. He has had 15 years of public experience in teaching, research, and administration in institutions of higher learning, such as the College of Education and University, namely Mufuka Udani College of Education, Ali Hikma University, Osun State University, and Skyline University, Nigeria, before joining the American University of Nigeria, AUN. He is a member of the professional associations such as Literary Society of Nigeria, LSSN, Literary Scholars Association, LSA, Society of Nigerian Theatre Artists, SONTA, and International Center for Development and Sustainability, ISDS, Japan. He has published a reasonable number of academic papers in high-profile journals. Ladies and gentlemen, there is Dr. Aziz Akinwumi-Sheson. Shall we please appreciate him?
Good morning. I stand on the existing protocol because of time. The topic of my discourse here today is there a reward in death? OYIN-ADEJOBI's contribution to the development of biopic in Yoruba film industry. I will make a bit of reference to what Professor Bimosode said in his talk here on OYIN-ADEJOBI and some of the plays and TV series of Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI. OYIN-ADEJOBI is a biopic. We can't erase that because this TV series was on the life and time of OYIN-ADEJOBI. What he experienced in a polygamous family. And as Professor you also said earlier, someone who was a victim of a polygamous home also practiced a polygamous home. Yes, this is highly important to underline here. Polygamous home did not actually endure Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI. Only prepared him to meet his destiny. Because his experience was that the rival wife wanted him dead, but God said you will attain your destiny. If he had had two legs, he might have died long before his glory came out. And that is why perhaps Baba did not see reason for him not to practice a polygamous home, because that would help him in his business of theatre. Because the wives also contributed to his performances and actions in the industry. But because of time, I have just 7 minutes. I have much to say about Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI and his trade, but because of time, but I will only add one or two things here because speakers before me had said some things on Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI and his practice. But there are some important issues I want to underline in the life and time of Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI. Number one, I want to talk on the juries that he had engaged in and the platforms that he had used to project his vision to the world. Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI was a complete man of theatre because he navigated all the genres and the sub-genres of theatre. Number one, he was actively involved in liturgical drama. Perhaps because he was a choir master in an Anglican church. The experience he had in the church actually assisted him in producing some liturgical plays, such as Paradise Lost, Joseph and his brethren. And he did this with total mastery of the scripture. We were young then, but I had read the excerpt, and also I remember I said so much on some of these liturgical plays of OYIN-ADEJOBI. Likewise, Dr. Ogundeji also did something spectacular on the plays of OYIN-ADEJOBI. And the liturgical plays took almost center stage in the dramaturgy of OYIN-ADEJOBI because of his experience with the church. Like others that ruled with him in the world of theater, church made our classical dramatists because they were exposed to the church. They grew up with the tradition of the church and were using that one to make their plays. Then two, OYIN-ADEJOBI was actively involved in children's theater. And children's theater, as Martins said, the children's theater could be categorized from three perspectives: play for the children, play with the children, and play by the children. OYIN-ADEJOBI was actively involved in play for the children and play with the children. Because when some scholars came to Osogbo and they were looking for money to be paying the salaries of these teachers, and Samuddin was paid. Some children were sent to OYIN-ADEJOBI to learn the art of theatre. Among these children of the period was Karim Adepoju, Baba Wande. That was his first experience with theatre. He was among the students sent to OYIN-ADEJOBI to learn performance. They will now come back to school, go to the community and perform these plays they have learned from OYIN-ADEJOBI to raise money to pay their teachers. Which means OYIN-ADEJOBI engaged in theatre in the service and for the service of the community. Unlike people that they were together, that they were not actually concerned too much about using theatre for humanity. Then also, OYIN-ADEJOBI engaged in myth and historical plays. This is another subgenre of his plays. He also produced Marimi, but unfortunately, because Marimi overshadowed OYIN-ADEJOBI's Marimi because of some underlying politics. OYIN-ADEJOBI's Marimi created a kind of rivalry between the Oladipo troop and OYIN-ADEJOBI's troop. But as a man of peace that OYIN-ADEJOBI was, he tried to underplay his own version of Marimi so that there will be peace in the industry. So that was the purpose behind the whole thing. This is why today we do not hear that OYIN-ADEJOBI produced Marimi. It was a kind of truce to make peace in the industry. Then also, OYIN-ADEJOBI engaged in Boropic, which is the thrust of my discourse here, but because of time, the paper, when it's available, I'll be sent to CPAC for correction. Boropic that we have, Boropic simply means a production of film based on the life and time of the subject, who in most times will be the protagonist, the story owner himself, or written by the amanuensis, someone that wrote on behalf of the person. OYIN-ADEJOBI was the first person in the industry to write a life biopic, writing a story about himself. Now, back to my question that I raised at the beginning of this talk, that is there a reward in death? This question goes to the family and the members of OYIN-ADEJOBI's theatre. We have not rewarded Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI in death. The family has much work to do. Because when I got the invite for this talk, I reached out to some members of the family that are practitioners, that we are in the industry together. Because I am also a member of Tampa. I reached out to Mr. Bola OYIN-ADEJOBI. I don't know that is in this hall. I reached out to I always call him Prof. Ara. I don't know his real name. I call him Prof. Ara. Is Prof. Ara here? Yes. Okay. Now, I reached out to them. I raised some fundamental questions. And to my disappointment, many of the clips of Baba's episodes with WN TV, with BCOS and other platforms were not interested at all. And then I even said, okay, can we work together to get this and bring them back to life in memory of Baba? But someone that God has blessed to put in so much into this work, and also they could not even find a copy of OYIN-ADEJOBI. And now, biopic is what others are now used to make millions, to make billions. Because biopic is really selling fast on Netflix. It's selling fast on all the streaming platforms. And Baba has a very unique story. A story that can attract the interest of UNESCO, that can attract the interest of so many multinationals. That you can rebrand this story, bring it back live. This is the only reward you can give to the legacy of OYIN-ADEJOBI. I am asking the family here. That's why I think, Baba, is there a reward in death? Baba has not been rewarded in death. We need to do something tangible to bring Baba's legacies back alive. And this can be done through the biopic that Baba established by himself while he was alive. And the MC is already giving me signal. Let me just maintain the standard of presentation in academia. When time is up, time is up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, for that beautiful presentation.
And of course, it is something we often worry about, those of us who do research on culture and history, that some of these things, some of these great iconic actors, the works they left behind cannot be traced. I begin to wonder, what are the families of these individuals doing to ensure their patriarchs materials, get back to them. Thank you so much for your questions, and I hope that the OYIN-ADEJOBI family will work towards some of these recommendations given to this colloquium. Quickly, I would like to call on, before we move to the cultural troupe, I would like to call on Professor. Dr. Mrs. Yinka Olariwoye from the Lagos State University of Ojo, all right, sir. Please. The podium, ma'am. All right. In 7 minutes, ma'am.
He was in my office,
Please, shall we please appreciate her?
As the only woman, I should be given more time. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This beautiful afternoon. My prof, good afternoon. You know, I always like going to I have many friends. Dr. Professor Adeoti, it's good to see you. Good afternoon. I greet every other person here. In absentia, the chairman and OYIN-ADEJOBI. Welcome. Thank you very much. My students, I like to address students, but I don't know how to talk when I'm in front of my professors. Because the students are teachers big now, I want to just talk on women like the late Baba's life. And people have been asking why the man who did drama on polygyny, that is, marriage of man to more than one woman, that had issues with that as a child, who was a victim of such marriage, then have about 5 women before his death. And that is the life of African men, especially Yoruba men. And I call it functional polygyny. I used functionalism to peruse the experience of the first wife, Mrs. Grace OYIN-ADEJOBI, because I got a call from Professor Oyeweso that afternoon. I want to do Colloquium on OYIN-ADEJOBI, and I want you to speak on the roles that the woman, especially the first wife, had that made the man's life easy. Of course, you used to hear behind every successful man is a woman. Now, behind the successful man, OYIN-ADEJOBI are women. Beautiful women. One is here with us, Mrs. OYIN-ADEJOBI. I greet you specially. Thank you, because I can't be in a polygynous marriage. I can't. I was discussing with Mama. I said, Mama, how did you do it? So you're the first wife? She said, yes. And after me, they married Margaret. After me was Kupura. Am I saying? Then after Kupura is the one that just died last year. Emily, and then this MST. So it's good to have all of you. Thank you. Because
you are not calculating well.
I can't.
Although
I promised her that I would change my opinion about it. But when I got back to the story, but it's good. It's functional. It's beautiful. Let me introduce this topic. It's just a simple topic, and that is there was a wife before Emily.
Yeah.
What is the name of
she's at home.
Margaret.
She's
I
at home.
mentioned Margaret.
No, we called her on the phone.
I mentioned there are 5. Mama was the first. Thank you. I think before I still living, one is 8.
Yes.
The Emily died last year. Mama Shonda, Mama Jibola.
Yes.
So the topic is power of a woman, the story of Iya Osogbo, wife of OYIN-ADEJOBI. How do Yoruba people perceive women? Who is a woman in Yoruba society and culture? The Yoruba people see women in different forms. Importantly, a woman is the opposite of a man. The woman is a wife. The woman is a daughter. The woman is a mother. The woman can be a sister and aunt, grandmother. So, a woman in Yoruba society is so revered. Of course, literature will tell us that, especially the early anthropologists and sociologists, and I call them armchair researchers that come to Africa to study us, especially those that studied Yoruba society and culture. They often project a Yoruba culture that had see the woman as a second-class citizen. It's not true. From oral narratives, from our spirituality, such as Ifa, from the Odu itself that brought about existence of the world. In that Odu, it's the first contact for me in gender reconstruction of the Yoruba people. This Odu goes like this: that Olodumare sent some Orisha to the world to start forming, separating, and populating the world. And there were 7 in number. Amongst them is just only one woman, and the woman was Oshun. Now they got here, the 6 other men conspired against the one woman, and they left her behind, and they started doing the work. They couldn't do it for several years because this woman had the ashe, and the ashe she could use, as narrated to me by Baba Ifayemi Elebuibo. And the woman now, connived with the LAS because the LAS were already in the war. And the LAS and Oshun began to destroy what the men were doing as they were doing it behind. When they couldn't do anything, they returned to Olodumare. Olodumare divinated, called the fact come and do divination. And Olodumare asked this question: where is the 7th person? Note, I use it at each opportunity I have to discuss women in Yoruba culture and society. Where is the 7th person, not the 7th obìnrin? Èèyàn kéje àbí
Èèyàn kéje, yeah.
He now said, but that is not one of us. Said why? Said ìyẹn tó máa ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ bọ̀, ìyẹn tó bá yá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa ṣẹ̀jẹ̀ kan nígbà kan àti ẹ̀mọ́gbá tó gbé sáyà and all. They were describing the physical attributes of a woman. Now Olodumare now said that until you bring that person into the fold, you will not be able to do anything. And that blood that you are talking about, that you see her, monthly shedding it, and that is what will water the world. That is what will populate the world. And those calabash you are referring to on a church will nurture the world. So the women will nurture the world. This strong woman, Grace OYIN-ADEJOBI, was able to stand with Baba, to take a time, even in that condition of Baba, you know, she loved Baba. That is obviously from interview. At the point, I said, Mama, would you still marry this man if given a chance? She paused. She's elderly, you know, 96.
94. No.
She looked at me. The way she just pronounced Oyin, it was like she was eating honey. Said Oyin. I looked at her because he said, Okomini, Tibatuwaye, Niba, Ega, Oyin Mafe. The connection, the affection is only truly nurturing. Now, this work has one purpose. The only objective is to understand our role and the other women's role in the legacy we are celebrating today. Because I looked at women, we don't celebrate women enough. And women, nobody will be, no man will be able to make success story without good women, a mother or a wife or daughters, or even at times sisters. Àti láwọn ọmọ ìyá obìnrin tó ń gbàjẹ́ nítorí ẹ̀gbọ́n wọn. Inú àwọn fíìmù àwọn àbóyin náà láti rí àwọn and the objective is to celebrate the woman in this life. Though it's an academic work, but we can't continue to go through the stages of academic. Of course, we check through the literature. We don't have much literature on Baba and the Mama and the other wives. In fact, among the 5 wives, this Mama Oshogo, as popularly known, I think she acted the Yaoshogo role in one of the Kini Agile's Yaoshogo. So that struck to her. And Emily is a bit also in public space because one of the children, I think Paula, is an artist. All the 5 wives were actresses. They acted with Baba. I just got information that Auntie Kubura was the Mama. Was it Kubura? Mrs. Kubura OYIN-ADEJOBI acted Mama Wande. Or Margaret acted Mama Wande. They all acted together. What parted this is what we want to discuss. Because when the people had questioned Baba, spoke about polygyny and being a victim of polygynous marriage. You know, we have two types of polygamous marriage. Polygyny is when a man is married to more than one wife simultaneously. And polyandry is opposite, when a woman marries one man, more than one man, 2 or more men simultaneously. So polygyny is what we practice here. Baba practiced polygynous marriage. And people had questioned why would he have still opted for such a marriage when he had been a victim through his stage play, OYIN-ADEJOBI, where he told the story of how he became disabled. It was not, we don't use disability anymore. He became physically challenged. In polygyny, Africans do polygyny And Yoruba people took polygyny for several reasons. Importantly, is because of the agrarian society we live. They are farmers, and polygamy will help in the farmland. More women, more wives, more children will help till the farmland. It's a form of political mobilization. The bigger your family is, the bigger you have in the clan. It's an economic instrument. For the more you have farmland, you will be able to have more produce to the market and you become richer. So you measure wealth by the size of your family. Has it worked for Mama OYIN-ADEJOBI? Yes. When Professor Chinonyeweso asked me to go and start researching anything, the fire brigade, anything, find everything about, I saw a particular interview, and the interview got a point that I had to visit her in Ibadan, at her son's place in Ibadan, Shola's place. The interviewer asked, Mama, is it true that you actually encouraged Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI to marry more wives? She said yes. Affirmative. I said, I know everywhere stands still me. I don't know Could this be true? I went to her. I got to her. Beautiful woman, good soul. You know the film Yao Shokonye, and that's stuck into my brain. I was waiting to see one very fierce, and she was also sweet, very beautiful woman. And I did exchange pleasantries. I started the interview. She told me about her early life. She's from Oshogo. Both parents are from Oshogo. No, the mother is from somewhere in Ofa. Yes, Ofa. But residing in Oshogo. The mother was a trader. The father was bricklayer and all. She attended the primary school where she first met Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI. One school like that, here in Oshogo, said All Saints, yes, school. She met, and Baba was not even physically challenged there. He was still walking on his legs and all. And but to know that scholars in the past had projected polygyny to be functional. The Emily Durkheim, Tackle Parson, the likes of Karl Marx, although Karl Marx will tell you that it's dysfunctional, it's still functionalism projection. That you use marriage, whatever form, maybe monogamy, polygamous, or whatever, to continue to oppress women, weaker sex in any society. Why the Durkheim, Tackle Parson, the latest ones, Sulaiman and Jala and the rest, myself believe that functionalism will function, will make anything, any human experience to have meaning within the society, to have importance. So also is this polygyny marriage we're talking about. Now, the woman said at the point when they started this theater, this traveling theater, thank you, sir. There was a dearth of female actors. That each time you even have few females coming in because they think that females are only running, that females doing movie theater are only running when you saw here. Or only running theater. Now, there are instances that Baba had trained some women that gone through the process of not even apprenticeship, maybe want to share role, want to cast, want to share auditioning, want to practice among themselves. And particularly they were going to take off in the evening. The parents of the lady came and picked her away. So it became a problem for them. They started looking for alternative. That was when men started dressing like women to perform. No one fee orange or rombo. I'm using a word. One for rombo, saya one fashion. See, look like the well dressed, wear aṣọ obìnrin to her, and the men they that be around my gun. So the woman now suggested to Baba, if you marry them, they will start the if they are your wife, they will not come and take them away. And that is how you became Baba's wife. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And that is the story of my graceful grace and all the graceful women in Baba OYIN-ADEJOBI's life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us a gendered angle to today's colloquium. Thank you so much, ma'am. Please, round of applause once again for Dr. Mrs. Yinka Olaronori. We would like to call on the Ogunjimi Cultural Troupe. Are they here with us? Please quickly, Ogunjimi Cultural Troupe for a live performance. We would want you to do that in the next 5 to 7 minutes, please. Thank you so much. Ogunjimi Cultural Troupe, are you here with us? Thank you. I remember when I was also a very young person, like that young man. So man shaking but he by. Well, Alapo Aro cultural group, are you here? Alapo Aro cultural group. Okay. As you look at the one day, we would like to introduce you and want to recognize the presence of these individuals. Engineer Adebayo S.A. representing the curator of the National Commission for Music and Movement. Are you here, sir? Where are you, sir? Please. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. We also have Mr. Bashiru M.O. from the same NCMM. Are you there, sir? Thank you so much for coming. We also have in our midst Miss Oluwakemi Oladele and Miss Olabode Oladayo, both representing Osun State in Abuja reality show, Strongest State Nigeria. Are you here with us? Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Bashiru Emo, right? Thank you so much. Thank you. We also recognize the presence of Otumba Tajuddin Adetoyeshe Afolabi, of course, who is the chief accountant of this center. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. And of course, within us in our midst is Barrister Dolapo Omolade, who is the bar mofin of Shekona. Thank you so much, sir. Also, in our midst is Mrs. Shola Duro Ladipo. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. We love you so much. Anytime you are here, we love you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Yes, we also have Ambassador Remi Ajibewa. I hope I got that right. Ajibewa, who is joining us virtually. Ajibewa, Professor Ambassador Remi Ajibewa. Thank you so much for joining us. Alapo Aro, let's ready.